Alright, so here I am back with some more Toaru, some Aeon of Horus, and yeah, just got a good little one here today. It's kind of like an older video, but yeah, how did Touma beat Accelerator? And then just see the explained version. So, like usual, right, pretty much know a lot about Accelerator, especially during this time, right? And then Touma, just his good old right hooks, he's just, famous for that, right? Just always knocking people out. But yeah, how did he really beat him, right? Of course, Accelerator, he's cocky and stuff. No one's really beating him, at this point. Nothing like too crazy like that. He hasn't really, and yeah, nothing too crazy as in like, yeah, he hasn't feared for his life or anything, right? He hasn't feared like, dang, am I gonna lose right now? So just things like that. And then of course, someone that could just literally negate his whole thing that he's got going on, right? So yeah, is there anything more to it? Let's just go into it. Let's see, right? Even if it's an older video, there's still something to be gained from it. So other than that, I will pretty much get right into this here, and yeah, just see what Aeon has got for us, and I'll go back a little bit.
What's up guys, Aeon here, back with another video,
Let's
and
see.
today we are going to talk about how did Kamijo Touma defeat Accelerator for the
Yep.
very first time during the Sisters arc. Since I've already done a video about how he was able to win when they clashed in World War 3, I thought it'd be good to do a video about the first time they fought in the Sisters arc. So this video is mainly for fans of the anime who are curious how the hell Touma, a level 0 Esper, was able to defeat the strongest level 5 in Academy City, Accelerator. On paper, despite the power of Imagine Breaker, Touma would have no chance. Surely the only possible answer to him beating Accelerator is clear and obvious plot armor. But despite common misconceptions, what if I told you there are actually plausible reasons that Touma defeated Accelerator during Sisters arc? But I must note that Touma did not defeat Accelerator easily. He nearly lost consciousness and his body was on the breaking point from his injuries. The Index anime failed to show this, despite the light novel saying that Touma was heavily injured, while in the anime it looked like he had a few scratches and that's about it. But luckily Railgun S did fix this, which showed a more half-dead Touma after Accelerator flung him around by manipulating the wind around them. Also guys, I noticed that you guys want to see a Kakine related video, so let's make a deal. I'll do 2 videos, part 1 being a character analysis about the true number 1 Esper, and part 2 explaining his dark matter ability. So if we get to 3,300 subs, I will make part 1 of the Kakine video, which will be the character analysis, and at 3,500 subs I'll make part 2, which will be the ability video explained.
Well, yeah, you could also say it's good seeing like where Aeon was, like, yeah,
if you want to see these videos.
way like long ago.
Now back to the video.
A little while ago.
The reason why Accelerator
where he
lost
is now
was because of his personality. Accelerator believed he could not be defeated.
Yep,
and
there
that
it goes.
His power to manipulate vectors was invincible. So he underestimated Touma and was willing to play with his food before deciding to go in for the kill. Accelerator was amused by Touma's personality due to the fact he was willing to try to stop Accelerator from killing Misaka Emoto. So that's why Accelerator was prompted to try and scare Touma to make him run away, but that never happened. When he was hit by Touma, he was in disbelief that he could be punched, assuming that he must have turned off his reflection by accident, as there is no other way that he would have been hit otherwise. But soon after subsequent hits, Accelerator realised Touma must have a special ability in his right hand that allows him to bypass the reflection. Accelerator began to panic and became desperate and clumsy to try and hit Touma. This certainly played into Touma's strengths, who remained composed and focused during the fight despite his injuries. This is impressive considering one touch from Accelerator would result in certain death for Touma, as Accelerator would simply reverse his blood flow using his ability. Accelerator also began to doubt himself and his power. Psychologically, Touma was in a far superior position during
Look
the
at
fight.
that.
The second and most important reason was the experience of both fighters. Accelerator never had to work hard to defeat his enemies, as most people who tried to fight Accelerator would automatically be crushed by hitting themselves by hitting Accelerator's vector shield, so he didn't really have much competition. Accelerator could literally just stand still and use little effort to defeat hundreds or even thousands of opponents or enemies, potentially. Touma was the exact opposite of this, as he always had to work hard to defeat his opponents, and he was experienced in street fighting against multiple opponents, but would lose if there were 3 or more thugs against him, as it would be too much for any kid like him to handle. Even if Touma is not a superhuman who can defeat hundreds of opponents like Accelerator, Touma had experience in street fighting against multiple opponents, even if he didn't win all the time, but it was still better than nothing, and it also gave Touma experience in fighting and using his head to gain an advantage in a fight. Certainly the fights up until this point in the story against Style Magnus, the Aureolus dummy which only appeared in the light novel, and Aureolus Izzard all required Touma to be thinking tactically combined with his physical strength.
Yeah, that
to
all
gain victory.
factors into
While
it.
Touma lost his memories in Old Testament 1, he did not lose his muscle memory, the part of his brain that links kinetic movement and actions to the brain. So Touma's body did not lose the experience of fighting street thugs in Academy City prior to Old Testament 1. Due to Accelerator having no experience in fighting the way that normal people fight, and Touma having that experience, it played into Touma's advantage. While Accelerator can manipulate the vectors around him to travel at supersonic speeds, Accelerator did not know how to utilize this ability to fit his fighting style at this point in the timeline. In fact, it can be argued that Accelerator didn't even have a fighting style at all to begin with, since he was just used to standing still and not trying to move about and outmaneuver his opponent to win. He could just stand there and his ability would do all the work for him. So Accelerator was unable to use his speed to gain an upper hand against Touma. I mean, he did use it, but just not very well, as he was just charging forward without any thinking really, because he was so angry during the fight, and that mentality definitely played a part in why he lost. His panicking mind made Accelerator unable to make good decisions in the fight. Accelerator's movements were slow and clumsy at close range, as if Accelerator used a fast attack up and close and it missed, it would leave him open to being hit. But at the same time, the slow and off-balance strikes of Accelerator were easy for Touma to avoid and counterattack, as Accelerator had never been hit before.
So yeah, you see it right there. Badly
Accelerator
injured.
went into a state of shock from experiencing physical pain, likely for the first time since he was experimented on when he was a very young boy. Touma, on the other hand, was used to taking hits and enduring physical pain, combined with his determination and resolve to protect Misaka Makoto and the sisters. Accelerator had never faced anyone with Touma's resolve before, which was why Accelerator was so shocked to see Touma stand up again and again, no matter how many times he was knocked down. Accelerator was used to fighting opponents who were weak-minded and afraid of him, which was why he said that he knew what it took to break a man, and yet Touma had surpassed that. Accelerator was notably scrawny and lacked actual fitness, since he didn't need to be physically fit to defeat anyone, as he could just rely on his power to win,
pretty much.
especially when he could just amplify his strength and speed. So he didn't really need to hit the gym. Touma's hits were also very damaging to Accelerator, especially the strikes to the face. Touma was able to KO Style in one punch, and that dude was like twice the size of Touma, so it's honestly impressive that Accelerator lasted so long after being punched in the face multiple times. Touma also could not have won without the actions of the Misaka sisters and Misaka Makoto, who worked together to throw off Accelerator's calculations for creating plasma by controlling the wind turbines across Academy City. Accelerator's trump card had been nullified by the sisters. he thought were useless and would never defeat him, and ironically, they played a vital role in defeating him, as psychologically, Accelerator could not accept what was happening before his eyes. His rage boiled over when he saw Touma standing up once again and became desperate to finish him off for good, after he was unable to use the plasma to destroy whoever was in his sight. Accelerator charged forward at Touma like an angry madman, while Touma remained focused despite how weak his body was at that point. Since Accelerator was so angry and just screaming, it made his actions and attack very easy to predict for Touma to counterattack and deal the finishing blow. I hope this video was insightful for those of you who are curious about how Touma defeated Accelerator without any bullshit involved. Anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Toaru videos. See you until next time. Bye bye.
Okay, then that is it. So yeah, there we go. A little bit extra, right? Knowing like, yeah, he was really more injured, right, than what they kind of showed in the anime. And of course, like I said, he got fixed. But yeah, even at that, yeah, there we go, right? And I mean, as much and as long as I've gotten this reintroduced to me, yeah, I would definitely say it wasn't just straight plot armor, right? There's definitely, yeah, because like I said, like, I mean, Touma should have been knocked him out, but yeah, he's still standing up. So, I mean, I guess you could just say that's Accelerator's resolve, and then also him just like not believing the situation. It's like, this can't be happening. So that's also keeping him up, I'm pretty sure, because he's just like, what is going on? Like he has like an ego, you know, he has a reputation, some pride to like, you know, keep going, right? So it's like, with that in mind, he just can't let it end right now. So there you go with that. Now that, I mean, that could be it, right, while he's still going, because of course he's naturally weak, right? That's literally what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, what if he actually sat here, did some push-ups, you know, he actually got to work, right? So even though really, like, even now, like currently, right, he doesn't really need to worry about getting hit, you know, like with someone like Touma, but even at that, still have the defense, right? Or if anything, if he wants to spice things up a bit, like, I mean, really just like punch someone himself, right? Do a fist fight of his own, right? Instead of like just, you know, sticking to wherever he usually does, right? Making plasma and stuff, all this vector stuff. Yeah, wherever, yes, just making things, and yeah, just throw it at someone. So yeah, I mean, that's up to him though. That's completely up to him. I mean, he has powers, so why not use them? But if he wants to, hey, he could do something. But I guess it's also cool that, you know, he is in the state that he's in, because then that'll just make him, not like it would make him too powerful, but that's what adds to his character. You know, it's not like he's super buff or anything, but he does have this power that can pretty much make him overpowered, right? So, I mean, he can go into the development later. That can be like a good idea. But yeah, it just adds to, or actually his figure as well, right? So whether you want to keep that figure or enhance it, but no, this is definitely cool. I like this. Still just seeing it. In a way, yeah, you could say his recap. Me seeing he really was punching this dude. Like, man, Touma, I mean, really getting him. I'm like, okay. So yeah, this is all interesting. Yes, it's this shot right. I think Aeon has showed this like plenty of times. I've just seen this a bunch. It's like, wow, yes, that one frame, right? But I guess I'll just, yeah, kind of end it off here. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, just looking at that real quick, seeing what he got to say about it, and then yeah, we'll just keep on going, right? Other than that should be about it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe, and then I will see you guys in the next one.